Hi, this is a webinar on the grading options in the Setup tab in the ThinkWave Solo Gradebook. First, click on the Setup tab. This is where you'll find the options for grading within the ThinkWave system. Click on Grading Options. Here you can select the grading options available for each class. The flexible grading will allow you to use points, percents, and letter grades, and the system will automatically calculate the grades. Click here if you want to use an assignment type weighting system. The total has to amount to 100%. And here you can select to use pure points. You have to be using only points to use the pure points option. You can click here to add a custom assignment type. And here you can select whether or not you want to average the subterms. The total has to amount to 100%. If you click on a specific class on the left-hand side, you have the grading options available for just that class. Here you can select whether or not you want to use the default, pure points, or flexible grading. Each semester and quarter will be set to the default, so if you want to use a different grading option, you'll have to manually change each semester or quarter. Back to the Setup tab, and click Your Custom Grade Scale. Here you can edit or create a new grading scale to use in the ThinkWave Gradebook. To add a grading table, click Add next to My Grading Tables at the top left. And here you can select the name, the grades, and the minimum percent needed to achieve that grade. If you need to add a grade, click Add Grade at the bottom left. And if you need to delete a grade, you can click on the trash can icon here. To edit an existing grade, click the Edit icon next to the grading table. Back to the Setup tab, and click on School's Final Grade Scales. And here you can add or edit custom grading scales. Whereas your custom grading scales affect only assignments, the school's custom grade scales determine how the student's final percent grade is converted into a letter grade or other symbol. To add a grading scale, click Add Grading Scale link at the top left. Here you can add the name, like for kindergarten. Once you add a custom grading scale, it will appear below the default letter grades. You can add grades by clicking Add Grade beneath the custom grade scales. And here you can add the grade, like Very Good. And here you can add the description. Here's where you can select whether the grade earns credits. And here's where you can select whether or not it's included in the GPA. Here's where you can enter the GPA value, and here's the value for honors GPA. And here's the minimum percent needed for a student to earn this grade. This is affected by the rounding options, which I'll get to in a moment. And you can delete the grade by clicking the Delete icon at the bottom left. The letter grades here are a default in the ThinkWave system. You can edit the default existing grades by clicking on the grade on the left, or the Edit icon on the right. To add a grade to the letter grade, click the Add Grade link at the bottom. And this is where you would enter all the information for a custom grade. Once the grades are created, you can assign the grades to the classes by going to the Classes tab and selecting the grade from the pull-down menu. Back to the Setup tab, and click on School's Final Grade Scales. To include a percent-based final grade in the GPA, you have to enable this feature by clicking the Enable button. Click on the minimum percent or the Edit icon on the GPA scale. Here you can select the minimum percent to achieve that GPA, and here's where you can put the value of the GPA, and here's the honors GPA value. If you want to add additional values, you could click Add Percent here. And then you can add something like minimum percent of 95 will earn a 4.2 or a 5.2 in the honors GPA. Going back to the school's final grade scales. Here you can select either letter grades or percent for the grade type for newly created classes. Here you can select how many places a final grade will round to get to the letter grade. You can select 0 to 2 places. For instance, if you are rounding to a whole digit, you may want to set the minimum percent to 89.5% to have the rounding match what the percentage displays. And here the minimum percent required to earn a credit when the final grade is a %. Back to the Setup tab, and now go to Standards and Skills. Here's where you can add or edit the graded standards and skills. Click Add to the new standards and skills. And here you can enter the name, and here you can choose to exclude it from report cards. You can edit or delete existing standards and skills by clicking on it. You can delete it by clicking the delete icon at the bottom left. Once you have all the standards and skills, you can add them to individual classes by going to the Classes tab. Select the class from the left-hand menu. Then click the edit icon next to standards and skills at the bottom. You can select them here. And here you can create the category names for the standards and skills. Once you click Save, you can go back and organize them by dragging and dropping. To grade those standards and skills, go to the Gradebook tab and click on the Final Grades by Class sub-tab. And you can see here under Final Grade, the graded standards and skills. Click on the window and input the grade. Then click Save. Back to the Setup tab, and click on Point Weight Equivalent. Since Flexible Grading Options allows you to use several different grades and automatically calculates the final grade, this option allows you to select the point weight equivalent to define the number of points required for a point assignment to be the equivalent of a discrete grade, like a letter grade. The default is set to 10, and this gives you the option to customize that. Back to the Setup tab. And these are the grading options in the Setup tab in the ThinkWave Solo Gradebook. Thanks for watching.